Yes, 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 yes. This is Positive Voices Show, always giving you more than positive vibes.
To change your lives.
I'm your host, Kimon Hall.
And I'm your co-host, Yola, Yoli.
Hey, in the house. What's going on, family? Happy weekend to y'all. Yola, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Kim?
I am doing fantastic. I'm doing well, thank you. I'm doing well. Yes. We are on break. We're on spring break. And
You're on spring break.
Yeah, I'm on spring break. So I'm super duper excited about that. I'm kind of mad that I'm not with my kids this week. I mean, but I think I'll be all right. I think they'll be okay without me.
Should be fine.
Gonna really miss my babies, but I'll see them again next week.
Yes.
Yeah. How was your week?
It was fast. Friday, Michael was out of school on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So the week was really fast for me, which I don't mind.
He was out of school?
Yeah, his school was off for Good Friday.
Wow. Must have been, public schools were in effect.
Yes.
So we were definitely in at work on Friday. But
yes.
I think if people wanted to take off, they would have had to put in a personal leave for that.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure they would have.
As opposed to, when we get Veterans Day, we don't, we get all these other days, and when it comes out to
Veterans Day, I think so. Veterans Day and President's Day or something like that.
Yeah, when it comes to us getting Good Friday like that, it wasn't given to us. But hey, it's all right. We still worship our Lord, and still are thankful. Want to start with prayer?
Yes. Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for bringing us together here on the Positive Voices Show. Lord, remind us to keep our tongues responsible. Remind us to love one another, be compassionate, be kind to one another. Help us, Lord, to navigate through this thing we call life and guide us in everything that we do. Remind us, Lord, that you are always there for us, and remind us to always go to you first. Good or bad, always go to you first. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Always go to God first. Sounds easy. But do we do that?
No.
Do people do that?
Yes.
People do.
I know I just said yes and no. Yes. So, yes, we do it, and sometimes we don't. And that's why I said yes and no. Because sometimes we remember to go first, and sometimes you don't. And sometimes you only go when things are bad, and we don't go when things are good. And, the whole story.
I go. I just go. I'm like, Lord, it's good. Lord, it's bad. Whatever it is, I go. I do it. I do it. And if I forget to do it,
then you say sorry and you do it.
Oh my God, Lord. Yeah. No, that's the human side of us, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No shame.
No shame. So my son's turning 15 on Monday.
Yeah, it's his birthday.
Oh my gosh. Shout out to Michael Russell. Yes, 15.
I know.
So of course we're gonna run to the DMV pretty soon and get that permit out the way.
Yeah.
I am super excited for him. Yeah, he's ready. I can't believe I have a 15-year-old.
I know, I can't either.
That's gonna be driving.
And he's driving. I've seen him drive.
Yeah. He's been practicing.
Yeah.
So the Brownfield says, "Happy Easter, sisters. Love you guys. Nice weather.
Happy Easter to Padna."
Yes. Happy Easter to you too. Happy Easter to everyone listening. Reggae Global Radio, Zion Highness Radio. You choose radio. Family, we love you. Reggae Global. Guys, we just want to appreciate you all for always tuning in, keeping it locked with us here on the Positive Voices Show. And we're going to jump into, let me tell you first, before we go into Yola's thought, our relationship topic is compatibility in relationships. Let your friends know that we are live on YouTube. So YouTube family, we love you. Definitely Facebook friends and family, thank you so much for being with us, guys. And so let's go into the YOLO thought. What's the YOLO thought of the day, Yo?
So my thought today is I lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry, guys. So my thought of today, for all of us going into next week, is just to remember that when people walk out of your life, that it's okay. You know, you don't know what they're going through, and it could be that it's for a bigger and better purpose. So yes, love on each other, be compassionate, be kind, but when someone walks out, let them go. It's okay. You're going to be okay. Right? So let them go. You know, it could be for a reason. It could be something they're going through or not. It could be that, you know, they were in your life for a time and now it's over. But let them go. Pray for them. Pray that they'll be okay. Don't hold any malice. And just understand that there's a bigger picture. Make sure that if you think you did something wrong, then, you know, pray about that. Ask for forgiveness for it if that's what you think happened, and then move on. And it's going to be okay. So that's my thought. Short and sweet.
Okay.
I think everyone has been through a time when somebody has either done you wrong or just walked out without explanation or walked out for a reason. You know, so if it's for a reason, something that you did, then, you know, take a look at yourself, you know, see what it is that you think you did and come to some type of resolution for yourself with that. You know, work on that. And if it's not because of something that you did, then just know that you're going to be okay. And sometimes that happens.
Yeah. And that's life.
Yeah,
That's
life.
That's just life, you know. It's commonly said that people are in their life for a reason, a season. And, right?
Yeah,
so, and that's typically it. And
Right.
when that season or that time is up, it's just up. And, you know, sometimes we hold on to people and we want to hold on to the friendship or what the bond that we've already built.
Yes.
And it's just like, wait a minute now, if we keep that, is it going to be beneficial to both parties?
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, I agree.
Yeah. Is it really beneficial to you to hold on to whatever that is?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I find that when, like my sister and I, shout out to my sister, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
So, we were talking about that today too. And I find that sometimes you hold on so tightly and so fiercely to what it is because, you know, you remember maybe something that the person did for you or something that some value they added for you, you know, and you try to hold on to that to maybe get that back, or you're afraid that you're going to be missing out if it's gone, you know. You don't realize how strong you are. You don't realize how resilient you are. You don't realize that whatever it is that that person may have been giving you, you may have found in yourself. So, yeah.
Because we can hold on to other people and use them as crutch and just, because they're always there. So it becomes familiar when they're gone. And it's like, wait a minute, whoa. This piece of me is missing. This part of me feels kind of incomplete, right? But you can, if that's a thing that was needed when that person was there, it's either going to be replaced by somebody else, or like you said, if it's in you, then that's great. And then if not, then you know you're going to miss it. But there's always a replacement somehow, somewhere with something else. Yeah. So unfortunately, that's life. If you do have friends, though, relationships that you have had for years, and you know they're good and they're good for both parties. Then,
and that's the thing too. You know, really see if it is both beneficial to the both of you. If it's not one-sided, if you don't feel like a doormat, if you don't feel like you're being used, if you don't feel like you are, you know, a punching board, you know, or someone to bring down for whatever reason. You know, if you don't feel any of those things, then cherish the friendship, you know, work on it, you know, that kind of stuff. But if it's any of the other things, then, and they walk out, then they can go.
Yeah, that's it was nice. And you can leave amicably.
Yeah. Like I said, it doesn't have to be malice. There's no malice involved. It's just, yeah.
Okay.
So that's the only stop, guys. Hope you liked it.
All right. Good, 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 good. Always like it. All right. Awesome, awesome, awesome sauce. Want to say shout out to Veronica Ellis. Mom, love you. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. Julie Bailey, thank you for always watching us as well. If you have any construction needs, please call J&P Construction. Give them a call. Ask for Junior. And the telephone number is 678-927-6945. Again, 678-927-6945. If you're in the Atlanta area and you need your house worked on, painted, whatever, give them a call. They will not disappoint. All right. Please, 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 please do not ever forget to give them a call. Tell them you heard about them on the Positive Forces show and get your 10% discount.
Mm-hmm.
I got you on that. I got you on that. All right, guys. So we're going to talk about compatibility in relationships. And, you know, it seems like that word, you know, it's kind of loose. It's kind of thrown around a lot. And people are just saying, hey, if, you know, a lot of people it's being misconstrued with the word chemistry. So a lot of people know the word chemistry and some know compatibility, and sometimes they get mixed up in the sauce, right? And it's like, what's more important in a relationship, chemistry or connection?
I think they're equally important.
Mm.
I really do. I think the chemistry is important. The attraction is important. Compatibility is important. Connection is important. You need all of those things. I think that compatibility is a very broad word. You can't just say compatibility because there's lots of different areas that you can be compatible in, and you could not be compatible in. Something simple like you might think is simple like kissing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You could be compatible or not compatible in that, you know, not just like religious views. You could be compatible and not compatible. You know, the way that you want to live your life or raise your children and stuff like that. So yeah, I think compatibility is a big, big word.
Yeah, you mentioned kissing.
Mm-hmm.
So kissing, meaning one person likes to kiss, the other doesn't, or they just don't kiss well together.
Yeah,
which one?
Like could be one person likes to kiss and the other doesn't,
Okay.
or it could be one is a sloppy kisser and the one isn't. You know,
sloppy.
Yeah. So yeah, I think
some people might like that though. Some people are like, hey, I'm all in now.
Two people that like that would be great together, and one that likes that and one that doesn't would not work. You end up not wanting to kiss each other, and I don't think that works because that's part of, you know, physical touching.
Right.
Yeah. So
right.
one person might like to cuddle, the other person might not.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's like a part of their love language, right? Mm-hmm. So that's definitely the first thing. When you're dating or in a relationship, you want to make sure that the compatibility is there. If there's no compatibility, do you really have a relationship? Can you have love without compatibility?
I think that is a very tricky area because, you know, you could always not be compatible in some things and, you know, compromise and decide, well, we're not really compatible here, but we do get along in other areas and that's enough. But I think to get to that point, you have to communicate that I'm okay if we're not compatible here. We have all these other things, areas that we are compatible with. Mm-hmm. And then for some people, it has to be across the board, compatibility in everything. Is that possible? Sure. Anything is possible. So yes.
Well, that's kind of difficult though, for you to find or be with fine, because it's a thing, right? To find someone that matches you exactly the same. And then again, do we want somebody that's exactly the same like us, that we're in? I don't know. I think the differences is what brings us apart sometimes too, where, you know, I have my interests, I have my things that I like to do, the things that you like, the things that you like to do, and we can come back and we can build great conversations about the things that we did today. That's different. But having common goals like together, like for the future for your relationship, then that's something different. I think you definitely need the compatibility with your goals to say what's the trajectory of our relationship, where we're going. But I think that if it's okay to have separate interests in terms of career or just the things that you like to do in your pastime.
Yeah, I don't think that compatibility and things that you like to do or not like to do are like deal breakers or are necessarily the same thing. Yeah. Okay.
So when you're compatible, like we always say, communication, communication is always the key. It's always a key thing. Making sure that you talk about the things that you like and be honest about it, right? Be honest about it. Be like, hey, if hey, I want to go horseback riding. You're like, hey, I hate horses. You're like, no, like let's be honest. Don't be like, yeah, I like horses, and then showing me, and then the smell of the horse and everything just gets you like sick.
Right.
Just be upfront.
Yeah. Fall off the horse, and then the date is ruined.
Yeah, exactly. Just be upfront. Like, I don't really like horses. Hey, you know what? I'll take you there, whatever, but I don't want to be a part of it. That's cool. But talking it out is very, 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 very important.
Yeah, so I guess that's good. If 'cause I'm sure there's people out there that communicate really well, and people out there that don't communicate that well, or they communicate or different styles of communication. So I think that is or can be a compatibility category.
Yeah.
Is how do you communicate? Like, what's your style of communication? Is your communication like, we don't agree on something, so we sit down and talk about it? Or is your communication style like, we don't agree on something, so I need to walk away and I'm about to explode? Or like two people exploding together?
Wow.
Yeah.
Explosion. yeah. And it's definitely best. But you know what though?
What?
Sometimes situations can occur and you think you're going to respond in a way and you don't. And you just say, wait a minute, I didn't even think that I would feel like I'm about to blow up here. This is there's something that was triggered. Talk about it. Like, hey, listen, I really feel like I'm going to get like really upset right now. I might just need a few moments, but be able to, not act like a child and express and communicate, how you feel about what's going on. Yeah. So that's definitely a thing. Being able to resolve conflicts. You have to be able to be compatible in that area too.
Yes, I agree. Because there's different styles of how you would resolve a conflict, right? So yes, that's an important part of being compatible. Is one person somebody that wants to sit and talk right now, right then, or is it somebody that likes to, take a breath, think about it, and then come back and have a conversation? And even if the two of you are on opposite sides of that, one likes to deal with it now, and the other one is like, no, I need a minute to think about it, because you like to think before. I like to think before I speak, so you like to think before you speak, right?
Yeah.
So if it's that, I kind of feel like being compatible is also being able to understand what the other person needs, and being able to have some type of bending in that. Like, I know that I need a break, and the person that wants to talk now can be like, okay, take a break, and then we can talk now. So you're kind of achieving the same thing.
Yeah.
We still need to talk now,
Yeah.
but I'm going to give you a break. So I think if you can, even though you might have different styles of resolutions of conflict, I think your compatibility come into play when you can hear the other person and give whatever the other person needs so that you can communicate through that disagreement.
Yeah. But it's good, at least if both are saying, hey, let's talk about it.
Right.
Some people are just like, hey, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it at all. Right.
Just off the bat, immediately, and they can compare you to somebody else. I've seen this behavior before, and I'm done. And I'm like, wait a minute, whoa, hold on. If that person says that, go with it. That's issues right there.
Yeah.
Things that are like bugged
That's
up.
baggage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a comment. Let's see.
Okay, yeah, we have
Hey,
a comment.
Mark Simpson, what's up, bro?
Welcome, Mark, to the Positive Forces Show. The comment is, I guess it comes down to how much we are willing to compromise in our relationships and how we accommodate each other. Differences can be good in relationship, just as coming from different cultures. Yeah.
Yeah. Different cultures, different, yeah. And wow, even cultures, that's another aspect of compatibility.
Yes, some people, I find that some people that come from different cultures, I think it can go one of two ways. But it really depends on how open you are. If you're open to learning someone's culture, then I don't see that as a compatibility issue because you're willing to try the food, you're willing to try the clothes, you're willing to listen to the music, you're willing to dance to the music, and vice versa. Whereas, the difference of culture and you're not somebody that's open to meeting and learning new things, that could be a compatibility issue, but also something that should be discussed, because some people are people that don't want to travel the world. I'm not holding anything against you, but that's how you meet other cultures and other places and other people. So if you meet somebody that's of a different culture of you and you're not somebody that's open to learning about that person, I think that can be an issue. But also in learning, you discover your differences and you discover that differences are not that big and not that bad, or you can find some commonality in the differences, right? So, yeah. Thanks, Mark. I like your comment.
Yeah, great comment, Mark. Big up yourself, Mark Simpson. All right, so that's definitely one. All right, so how about personal growth and compatibility? Yeah. We want to be able to evolve together. We want to be able to grow together. And we know, after a couple of years, we change. Within 5 to 10 years, our trajectory changes sometimes, and sometimes they're the same. So, you meet somebody now, and in 5 to 10 years from now, if they're the same, no growth, and it's just mundane, that can bring monotony to the relationship, right? And then you have your partner, that's like, hey, I'm a go-getter. I want to do something different. I want to, change states. I want to go to a different country. You start to develop an appetite for even a different culture somewhere else. Then you're just like, hey, are we still compatible here? But I think as we as individuals go through the relationship process and, finding who they are as they develop or who they're growing into be as they develop, then you should be growing together. You should be growing together and accept if that person doesn't want to change, and also accept if the other person wants to change. You gotta accept that. Because if you don't, that's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a huge problem waiting to happen. One person will be frustrated. Hey, we've been doing this all this time. For 10 years, you're doing the same thing. I'd like some growth. I'd like to, venture out. I'd like to have some fun. But everything really comes down to communication and talking it through and not being afraid to talk.
Yeah. I cannot stand this saying at the end of the day. I don't like saying it, but so I'm going to change it. In the bigger picture, it's communication, because even like you're saying, personal growth, I totally agree with that. There's some people that have goals and they have this type of personal growth mindset. But even in that, you need to decide and communicate on what that is. Do you want to have the house in 5 years? Or do you not want to have a house in 5 years because you want to save all your money to travel? Do you want to have kids? I mean, all of those things I think are aspects of growth. Do you want to work on yourself? Do you want to change at all? And then on top of that, you're already changing because you're already evolving because of everything that's going on around us and in our environment. So, you have to do check-ins.
Yeah.
And that could be a sticking point for some people when it comes to compatibility. If you're not communicating and you're not talking to each other about what you're feeling and you're not being honest about it, one person can start growing and not even realize that they are. And then they look back and you are still where you are. you know,
Outgrown.
because you've outgrown that person because
Yeah.
you're perfectly comfortable where you are. You never had that talk about where do you want to be in 5, 10, 15 years? What do you want to do? You know? So
I guess people just kind of think sometimes that, hey, we're just gonna, there's some things you just don't have to talk about.
yeah.
And because we meet each other in this spot and we just grow and not thinking futuristically. You have to think futuristically. You have to think, because you cannot, project your thoughts and how you feel upon somebody else. Here's a quote. A quote says, "Stop expecting you from other people. Stop expecting you from other people, because you are the way you are because of your environment, which you've grown, been brought up in, where your job, your career, wherever you are in your life, the things that you've learned throughout your years, experiences from yourself and others, that has curated who you are and your mindset. But you have to definitely not think that because I think that way, you have to think that way also, or I expect you to think that way as well. And because you see somebody and you just think, oh, they're an adult, and obviously my way is right. There's no tweaking to it, and so you must think that way as well. And sometimes that's just not true.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's like you are expecting something as almost as if you guys grew up the exact same way, which is impossible. Even the way that you were raised affects, your values and your thoughts and how you handle things and how you resolve conflict or don't resolve conflict. Yeah. So even that is hard.
Mm-hmm.
How it's like I have had expectations of people and I've let go expectations only to turn around and pick them up again.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very hard to not have expectations. But I think when you can come to a point where you realize that we're all different, we're raised differently, that, you can't expect someone to act the way you act. You can't, or you shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Yeah, you shouldn't. And we have expectations. We have expectations, what we think our parents should do, what we think, our best friends should do, what we think our spouses should do, what we think our kids should do. I think there's a almost like a fine line between expectations. The things that you can really expect and the things that you can't expect someone.
Yeah,
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does actually, because, hey, guys, talk it through. Talk it through. Deborah out of New York. Good afternoon to you too, Queen. Hope
Good afternoon,
you're doing
Queen.
well. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining us. We're talking about compatibility in relationships. If you'd like to give us a call, give us a call. We want to hear. If we want to know who's out there. We want to know who's listening. We want to, hey, we got 4 different stations that we're going on. We're on all these social media platforms. We need to know who's out here. 404-916-5138. 404-916-5138. I'm gonna put it up there.
Yeah.
I want to hear from you. What y'all think about compatibility? Are you even compatible in the relationship you are in? You can be married for like 25 years and just making all these compromises. And you're just like, you know what? I'm gonna just suck it up because my partner is just who he is. And how does that feel? You just always just taking the higher seat or the lower seat, whatever you want to call it, so that the other person can be comfortable.
Yeah, I wonder if I've never been in a situation, but I wonder if both people are compromising. What does that look like?
Oh my God! No one being happy, like consistently compromising.
Yeah,
like losing themselves.
No. Like I compromise on something, and you also compromise on something. It's not like I'm bending and the other person is not bending. You know what I mean?
Well,
because I think it's like one person, like you might be in a marriage for a long time, right? But you're not happy. And it's because you might be the one that's doing all of the bending and the accepting and the compromising and I'm going to do what you like to do because this is the way you are.
Mm-hmm.
But when does that become okay? Right?
Mm-hmm.
If the other person is also doing that, then wouldn't it be okay?
Then it's okay.
Yeah.
If you're,
Yeah.
if you're both doing it.
If you're both, compromising and with each other on the differences, then I could see how that would be okay.
Yeah, that definitely works.
For all of those who don't want to call, please put a comment in the chat and we will shout you out
Yeah.
and read your comment.
Yes. 404-916-5138. I want to know how your relationship is. I want to know, maybe you're some nuggets you can definitely give us or give somebody, because somebody might be struggling in their relationship and they're saying, hey, you know what? I need some help. And if somebody is struggling in their relationship, there is help. You can always find a trusted counselor or a therapist or a pastor of somebody that you can talk to say, hey, you know what? I'm in this relationship and it's not really working. One person stops listening typically, or if somebody gets, selfish. And if that one person gets selfish and one's not listening, then, you're always going to have a problem. And if you're with somebody for 10, 15 years, I saw a comment, someone was with somebody for 25 years and they were just not happy, but they're in it because of the union of marriage and, maybe for the kids. And, they're sitting there in something that is not working for them, but because to save face, you don't want people to talk about you. So you almost, you lose so much years of happiness that you could have had. You lose so much of your life because you're down. Those things cause depression. They cause anxiety. They cause mistrust. There's so many things, and then you're living this life, and that other person is like, fine. It's healthier to be able to say, hey, listen, we need to talk to somebody because I feel like this is not working. And that person hopefully should say, hey, you know what? I'm listening. I'm listening. I didn't know how you felt. I didn't know it was to this magnitude. But if you're with somebody and they just won't listen, that's something to consider, reconsider. Am I in the right relationship? Yeah. Am I in the right relationship?
Yes, agreed. It's like, at what point does the other person listen? Like, I kind of feel like people that have issues like that can actually work it out. You can. You just have to be able to listen to the person, and actually hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like I've said before, some people just want to be heard. They just want to know that you heard what they said and you understand at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Then you can go from there.
Yeah. So so we talked about stop expecting you from others, all right? How about, so there's some things that you should stop expecting from other people. And what about this? Let's see. Stop expecting somebody to always be around. Now, could that be if they're not always around, if they're not with you 24/7, if they both have jobs, both have lives, does that mess with compatibility? If the person is not always there?
I don't know how you can always be there.
I don't think I would want somebody to always be there. But some actors do.
Some people do, but I don't know how you can always be there. I mean, unless you just stay at home all of the time. How can anyone be there all of the time?
Family business. People work together. You have a lot of, even the Asian community, they work together, they cook together, they do everything together. They're always there, always together.
But so maybe I misunderstood, because I thought it was that, is it realistic that you expect someone to always be there? So is it realistic for you to expect someone to always be there? No, I don't think so. Because we have lives, you have to go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. You're not going to always be there. Saying that people that work together are always there, you're always around each other. I don't really think that's the same as expecting someone to always be there. Of course, you're going to be in each other's faces because you work together. And then after you leave your family business, you go home and you're together.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
so you're together. Some people do it and they make it work because they just love to be together. And it could be that they are so compatible that they communicate, they hear each other, they validate each other, and even when they might misstep and not validate what a person is saying, they can retrace their steps and say, you know what, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What were you saying? Or, you know what, I can't do this right now, but if you give me 5 minutes, I can do it. And then the other person's answer would be like, okay, versus, no, I need your time right now. I just think that is like a really hard, no bending kind of way. Yeah. So I think that compatibility comes with some compromise.
It has to,
like we said before, and being able to communicate with each other, even if you have differences and different expectations. The fact that you can communicate with one another in a way, you feel heard, yeah, and you can bend a little bit, saying, well, do this right now. I need to talk to you right this minute, and the response being, I really need to get this one thing done. I'll be with you in 5 minutes. It's not a bad thing.
No, you don't think that what I'm going through right now is important enough to put that off to come talk to me now.
Yeah, that and that response right there to me why there's issues, because one person is just not willing to bend. They want it now and they want it their way.
Yeah.
And they expect, because I would put what I'm doing down right now because you say you want to speak to me now, then therefore you must do the same. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, well, see, now next time I won't put my things down immediately for you, because I thought that when I did that showed that you were 100% first in my life.
And 10 years later, you're miserable. I'm just telling you, 10 years later, you're miserable.
Yeah.
You've heard it here on the Positive Forces Show.
You Choose Radio Live. Hey, big up yourself. You Choose Radio. Cook together. Someone said cook together. Wow. Okay. So cooking together is a part of compatibility. Doing something. If the other person likes to cook.
Yeah, I don't think that's a compatibility thing. I don't think so. I think that is doing things together, an activity that you do together. Because like you said, one person might love to cook, and the person that cooks might just love that you eat their food. And two people trying to cook together, and one can cook and one can't cook, might make the cook frustrated, or it might taste horrible.
You in my face. You in my room, like I can't even get to my potatoes and my tomatoes. Like just go sit and go have a drink. And go sit in the living room. I'm gonna make you something. I ain't nicely telling you to go out, get out.
Right. That's a nice way of saying, get out of my kitchen. I cannot work with you in here with me.
Yeah, it's not enough space. It's too crowded. You might have somebody that says that, and you're just like, wow, I really actually wanted to be here with you and cook and watch you cook. No, sorry, you can't watch me. No, I'm not giving out my secret sauce and my secret ingredients. You can't see it. But yeah, that's the thing. So always wanting a person to be there, that's not really realistic. And if it has to be a conversation that has to be had, have it. All right. Stop expecting the other person to be perfect, like your perfect person that you had in your head, that you conjured up into your head thinking that person should be that way. And that's typically not going to be so. If we have the expectations of how it's like you want to create and mold somebody into who you thought that person would be, and if that person doesn't have those attributes that you think you want or you want them to have, then you say, oh, we're not compatible. No one's going to be that perfect you in your mind. So if you get that, that's like, is that person really being authentically them or trying to be who you want them to be? But hey, both of them, it can work. If you find somebody that's in your head, that's this perfect person, and he's doing everything or she's doing everything that you want them to be, then great. But that's not always necessarily the case.
Yeah, maybe two perfectionists can work well together.
Maybe not. Because they're going to be so OCD on certain things. It's going to be like, wait a minute.
But then they'll both be OCD together. So that's what because you're both perfectionists, right? Maybe.
But like people for who they are. Like people, as a quote says, when you stop expecting people to be perfect you can like them for who they are. Like them for who they are. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or don't be with them at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
always think it's important to like somebody.
Yeah. Like them for who they are. Yeah. Like them for who they are. Okay. Another thing. 10 things you should. All right. So stop expecting somebody to read your mind. You know what I'm thinking right now?
What? That I'm reading your mind?
You can't expect that. Hey, you should have known. That's what I wanted. Like, hey, hon, I'm going to the store. I'm gonna pick up the restaurant. I'm gonna pick up some food. Do you want anything? No, hon. I'm good. I don't want anything. Now you come home. We see this. We hear about these kind of scenarios all the time. The woman comes home or the man comes home with nothing for the spouse, or the partner was like, I don't want anything. That was said. So they come home with their food, lay it all out, put it on the table, and then the lady or the man is looking at them like, can I get some? Or how come you didn't bring anything home for me? And then they're like, well, I called and I asked you, you said you didn't want anything. But you should have known that I would have want some of your food. Or you should have known that if you had bought me this, I would have been happy. But I asked you and you said no.
Okay.
Is
Well,
that compatibility?
you're not compatible if I can't read your mind and you can't read mine.
But some people expect.
If you're with somebody who can't read your mind and you're a mind reader because you're psychic, run for the shelves.
What did Deborah say? Deborah Farrington. Shout out to you, darling.
Deborah said, you can't be together all the time. We need some me time also. Household things we can do together. Communication is very important. You can't always have your way, but listen to each other is very, very important. Togetherness is great, but when I find myself is giving you most of my time and you're not, then you're asking for something different from me. I am sorry.
Uh-oh, she's like deuces.
Mm-hmm. You know, I love Deborah's comments because Deborah's always to the point with what she's saying. She's like this is me, right?
With the caps and everything.
Yes.
But when I find myself giving you most of my time and you're not, then you're asking for something different from me. Yeah. Asking me to lose myself, asking me to put you first, asking me to, treat you better than I treat myself. That's actually a very deep comment, Deborah, and that's true.
Yeah.
And so many people,
or not reciprocating.
No
reciprocity, not reciprocating. Okay, like Deborah says, I'm giving you the most, and you're not giving me even half of what I'm doing. Yeah,
that's crazy. That's not compatibility.
No, it's not.
Yeah, you're
not compatible if you're giving all and that person isn't giving anything. It's kind of like the compromise point. I'm bending and you're not bending. I'm not bending, you're not bending. Okay. I'm bending, you're bending, works.
And then they may say, hey, I pay the bills. You're a stay-at-home mom. I pay the bills, I take care of this. My finances, all I ask for you to do is to just do this, and this is a big problem. Whoa, hold up. I hear and see flags waving, right? Because, then again, did we talk about it before? We talked about these are just things that you have to communicate about. If I stay at home and I'm taking care of the kids, I'm taking care of you. Yeah, but like you said, Deborah, you have your own needs too, and you have your own life. You definitely got to have a time where you can say, hey, this is time for me. Because even if you're a stay-at-home mother, you're still working at home, taking care of a child, taking care of the house. There's still a job.
Yes, it is. And part of being compatible in that way is communicating. If you two have decided that you're going to stay at home and do all the home stuff, and he's going to work and do all the financial stuff, and vice versa, because nowadays we like to reverse roles. if you communicate that that's what you want, then that's what you want. And if it turns into a point where you don't feel like you want to do that anymore, then you need to communicate that and get back on the compatibility side. Yeah. Because you might decide, you might want to stay home. You might be okay with that. And the guy and your man do all of the financial part. And then there might come a time when you want to start your own business.
Yeah.
Or you want to work also.
Yeah.
Then you need to have a conversation to see if you two are still compatible in that type of living situation where you're both making money. Does that mean that now you both are going to share chores? Or do you feel like, well, since I want to have my own business, it's going to be from home, I can still have my own business and still take care of the home, and you take a rest and you keep where you are. But again, a conversation of that has to be had to see if you're still compatible with how your life structure looks like.
Yeah, we got to do a segment on that and have some men on and women and talk about the financial piece in terms of, I've heard guys say, hey, just to say we're a little bit off, like, you meet somebody and they have all this debt and they don't have any debt. They're taking this debt on. Is that even fair? Stuff like that. I think that's a good segue into a topic that we definitely need to chop up and see. But
yeah, or like I follow this one person on Instagram, and he is of the mindset that the man should be the one doing all of the financial responsibility, and that includes taking care of his woman, and she can do all of the house stuff. And he's perfectly fine with that. He just thinks that it's crazy that a man is not going to provide for a woman, and that's fine. I'm sure whoever he finds is going to be someone that also feels that way. And they're going to have that conversation, and it's going to work because that's what they want, right?
All right, one more comment, and then we got to do our final thought.
Ooh, another comment from Deborah. I believe anyone that comes home first should start dinner. I raised my son to work together. Son, listen to her, and she needs to listen to you. But never, ever let a woman overstep her boundaries. Respect her, and she needs to do the same.
It's a perfect world. That's the ideal perfect world. We hope that then you'll hear, well, I came home for you know what? Somebody might say, you know what, I could have come home first, but let me make some stops. let me do some errands.
I would have never thought about that.
Let my husband go home first. I don't have to cook.
I think that's okay for someone who can't cook. Like if you're the woman and you can't cook, but you have this deal that who comes from first is the one's going to start dinner.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Starting dinner doesn't mean that you have to do the whole thing.
No.
It might just be that you can boil some rice.
Yeah.
I'm thinking everyone can boil rice. If you can't, the directions are on the box.
Everybody's coming to get home late or not going home at all.
Right.
Like, did you start
I
it
didn't want to cook first.
Final thoughts.
Okay, so wait first. Oh my gosh, this is the part that I don't like because I really do love talking with you guys and reading your comments and really just being with you all and seeing what you think and sharing my thoughts with you guys. Right? So I love you guys. So my final thought for today is for this next week, take some time to look at yourself. Like take a long look in the mirror and try to do some evaluations on yourself and some evaluations of your relationships that you're currently in. Not just relationships, man and woman relationships, but family relationships, brother, sister, mother, father, whichever, friendships, co-workers. Take a look at these relationships that you're in and see if they are feeding you and if you are feeding them. And for all of us or any of us that have had people recently walk out, I want you to remember that moving forward this week, that it's going to be okay. Right? Everything happens for a reason. Do a little self-reflection and take a look at yourself so that you can see that you are strong. You are strong. You are strong enough, and you are enough. That's my final thought.
Deborah said, no, that's not what I mean. Whoever comes home after should join in. Okay.
Yeah. I know what you meant, Deborah. Yes. I know that's what you meant.
Reggae Global Radio, You Choose Radio, Zion Highness Radio, and Viscosity Blend Family we just want to make sure, I want to remind you, listen, Instagram family, see some people on, shout out to you, Susan, and some other people that are on. Just want to say thank you for being with us. Make sure that you continue to not compromise to the point where you lose yourself. Do not compromise to the point where you lose yourself and then eventually you no longer know who you are. Make sure that everything that you do, you weigh it out. Every relationship that you're in, you take the time to figure out, is this something that I need? Is this a relationship that I want to be in? Is this relationship going to serve me? Can I be of great service and be useful in this relationship? Because it is two-way. Do not waste time in something that you know is not going to really, work for you. And then 10 years down the line, you decide to get out. If you think that it's not going to be worth it, pray about it, get counseling, try to make it work for you, because time is short, life is short. You don't want to be 10 years in something, suffering with depression, suffering with anxiety, and just suffering in general. All right? Love yourself first, because when you love yourself, that's a reflection of the love that you're showing others that you need from them as well. Because if you don't love yourself, others will not be able to love you. Guys, I love you all. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for being with us today. Guys, have a fantastic rest of the week, and we'll see y'all soon. Take care.
Oh, and happy Easter.
Happy Easter. God